Hello dear community and warm welcome to this new tool review. Today I have for you the latest cordless work light from Makita, the smaller version, the DML811. In today's video, we're going to take a look at what this new work light from Makita has to offer and whether it's worth buying. You'll find out in today's video. So I'd say let's not waste any time. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this channel and activate the bell so you won't miss any videos. You'll find the current prices of this great piece to support my work down in the video description. Thank you for your support. And with that, let's get started after the intro. Finally, the time has come. In front of us is the new generation of Makita cordless work lights, and we have the smaller version here, the DML811. There's also a slightly larger, brighter, and more expensive version, the DML809. I'll link that one in the video description as well. Both versions are pretty much identical, but if you want me to review the larger version separately, be sure to let me know in the comments below. In today's video, however, we're focusing on the DML811. Let's see what comes included with it. Besides all the packaging, the first thing you'll find is a small leaflet stating that the built-in LEDs provide high energy efficiency rated either A+ or A++. It's also noted that the light source cannot be easily replaced. Next, we have the usual user manual, almost like an instruction catalog as we've seen with other machines. And finally, here's the actual cordless work light. So, here it is, the Makita DML811, along with the corresponding power cable. This is definitely quite interesting because if we think back to the old version or the predecessor of Makita's cordless work lights, most of you will probably know that the cable was permanently attached and couldn't be removed. That's definitely an advantage here. The power cable can be removed, so you don't have to carry it around with the work light all the time. By the way, if you'd like me to make a comparison video between the old and new versions of Makita's cordless work lights, be sure to let me know in the comments below. So far, so good. But today, we're really focusing on the DML811. So, let's take a closer look at it. The first thing I noticed when I picked up the new Makita work light, mind you, we're talking about the small version without the battery, is that, in my opinion, it's already quite hefty and heavy. Of course, we can quickly check this to see what it actually weighs. So, the weight of the solo version without the battery, and we're already at an impressive 4,000 grams, plus the 5 or 6 amp hour battery depending on what you choose to use. That puts us at around 4,700 grams, which, in my opinion, is definitely quite substantial. This means that for constantly carrying or moving it from point A to point B, these models are, in my opinion, less suitable. Instead, they're really designed for stationary lighting of a workspace for several hours and with a decent level of brightness. However, if you need to stay mobile while maintaining good brightness, you might want to take a look at this model, the Makita DML811, an extremely bright handheld cordless light which I can highly recommend. I've already reviewed it, and I'll link it in the info card at the top right. With this cordless work light, it definitely makes sense to secure it properly either on a tripod or on its 4 feet. Holding it constantly by the handle gets tiring after a while. Still, for occasional transport, we have a relatively comfortable, rubberized, non-slip handle up top. I'd say it's almost the same as on the DMR203, as it feels pretty much identical. Of course, as you can see, the handle is foldable and locks securely into place in both positions, so it won't come loose during transport. Another way to stabilize the work light is by using the 4 rubber feet on the bottom. In my opinion, they're very well designed. If we take a look at these 4 rubber feet, you can see they're all mounted with 2 screws rather than glued on. This means they won't fall off even after several years. Additionally, all 4 rubber feet are several millimeters high and have a slight texture on the underside. The work light stands only on these 4 feet, doesn't leave any scratches, and offers great slip resistance even on smooth surfaces like tiles or similar. And lastly, option number 3 is that on the bottom, we find a very sturdy metal plate with 3 holes, allowing us to mount the work light on a tripod. What else can we see on the underside? Clearly, these thick aluminum bars, which give the entire construction of the cordless work light extreme durability and stability. Compared to the old version, the whole structure was much more fragile. To summarize briefly, this thing is rock solid. Nothing wobbles, not even the light element. And on top of that, all the corners are reinforced with thick rubber edges. This work light can definitely withstand multiple drops without any damage. I'd say we move on to the light element, or more specifically, the lamp head. As you can already see, it's almost 360 degrees rotatable. This means you can illuminate any corner or angle with this cordless work light. Just like the previous model, we find large plastic adjustment knobs on the left and right sides. In my opinion, they're really well sized, making them easy to handle. Turn left to loosen and right to lock the lamp head in place. A quick close-up. You can see that the knob or screw moves very smoothly, making it easy and comfortable to use. Moving on to the back, just like the original model, we find the large battery compartment and the fold-up mechanism at the top, similar to the Makita cordless radios. Once you get the hang of it, the whole process works smoothly. Around it, there's a nice thick rubber seal to prevent dust or splashing water from entering the battery compartment. In the middle is the actual battery slot. As we can already see, it's just 2 pins, meaning it's easy to use both 18-volt and 14-volt batteries with this cordless work light. However, as we've already learned from previous battery videos, it's always a good idea to use a battery with the highest possible voltage and capacity. So, in this case, an 18-volt, 5 amp hour, or even a 6 amp hour battery to ensure the light runs as long as possible. Makita specifies the battery runtime with a 5 amp hour battery at maximum brightness to be around 2.5 hours, which, in my opinion, is quite short. On the lowest setting, however, it can last around 10 hours, and that's definitely impressive. If you want unlimited battery runtime, you might want to find an outlet and use the included power cable. There's a dedicated port for the cable on the back, covered by a thick rubber flap to prevent dust or water from getting in. It's also marked with a symbol to remind you not to expose the work light to water when the cable is plugged in. But if we take a closer look at the port, there's even another rubber cover inside, so no splashing water can get in. Still, I wouldn't risk it, so definitely be cautious. So, what's the advantage here? Clearly, I have a power cable that I don't have to carry around with the work light all the time, and I can remove it completely if I want to. The included power cable is also relatively high quality if the camera manages to focus. It's an H07RN-F cable with two 1 square millimeter conductors made for outdoor and tough conditions with a total length of 2.5 meters. In my opinion, that's sufficient. Of course, you can extend it if needed. So, if you want continuous lighting, you should rely on the power cable. Some of you might wonder, does the battery inside charge while plugged in? No, that's not possible. As far as I know, this is only possible with the Makita 300 series radios. On the left side, as you can see, there are 2 plastic hooks where the cable can be neatly wound and securely stored. Okay, sure, if the work light falls on this spot, it probably won't survive, but still, look at it. The material is relatively sturdy. Okay, there's nothing more to say about the back, so let's move to the top to see what buttons are there. We only find 2 buttons here. That's it. Pretty minimalist, but still functional. In my opinion, the buttons have a nice tactile feel, and as you can see, they're fully rubberized, making them non-slip. The size, in my opinion, is also sufficient. First, there's the on-off switch. Just press once to turn it on or off. And then to the left, there's the second button for the 3 brightness levels. To summarize these results in numbers, the first level produces 750 lumens, the second level 1500 lumens, and the third level a maximum of 3000 lumens. We'll see how this performs in the dark later on, but I think those results are already impressive. The light output is thanks to the built-in LEDs. There are a total of 30 with a thick reflector all around to ensure the light is well dispersed. Each LED has a maximum power of 1.05 watts. That means the LEDs collectively draw about 30 watts. I'm not sure why Makita didn't opt for COB LEDs, which are more compact and efficient. Nevertheless, we'll now check the light output and performance of this cordless work light in practice. I'm really curious to see how it performs in the dark. So far, so good. let's take a look at the Makita DML811 in action. I've set it up outside, and we're currently on the 3rd brightness level. I'd say it looks pretty good. As mentioned, this work light has 3 brightness levels with up to 3000 lumens, starting with the first level at 750 lumens, which is perfectly sufficient, then level 2 with up to 1500 lumens, and finally level 3 with up to 3000 lumens, really solid. Of course, indoors, the light would appear even brighter since it reflects much better than it does outside. As for the light's range, I'd estimate it covers about 10 to 15 meters. As you can see here with the tree, once the work light is positioned, the entire tree is very well illuminated on the 3rd level. As you can see, the whole body of the work light or the lighting element can be adjusted and rotated up to 210 degrees. So it's very easy to adjust depending on where you're working. Lastly, here are a few shots from further away. You can also see that the LED color temperature is very pleasant and natural looking. And now for the conclusion. To sum it up, in my opinion, this is definitely a very good cordless work light from Makita in the 18-volt format. Even the chickens might start working the night shift. Just kidding. But seriously, this is a really solid device from Makita, so it definitely gets my recommendation. If this isn't enough for you, then you should check out the DML809, which goes up to 10,000 lumens. Absolutely insane. You'll find both links down in the video description or in the info card in the top right corner. Thanks so much for your support. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye.